Cambodian national politics take place with the framework of the country's constitution, which was adopted in 1993. The government is a constitutional monarch that operates under the auspice of a representative parliamentary democracy. Prime Minister Hun Sen has served as Prime Minister of Cambodia since 1985. The King of Cambodia, now Norodom Sihamoni, is the head of state, while the Prime Minister serves as the head of government. The Prime Minister is elected by the monarch with the advice and agreement of the National Assembly and serve for a period of 5 years. The Prime Minister and his ministerial appointments are in charge of exercising executive authority. Cambodia's main city is Phnom Penh, and the country Independence Day is celebrated on November 9. The overall population, according to the United States government, is 16.9 million people in mid-year 2020. According to the MCR, Buddhism is practiced by around 95% of the population, with Theravada Buddhism accounting for 95% of all Buddhist Christian, Muslims, animes, Baha'is, Jews, and members of the Chaudhry religions make up the remaining 5% of the total population. Trading economics, global macro models, and expert estimates predict that Cambodia's GDP per capita will reach 1,221 US dollar by the end 2021.
Hello, my name is Rusyaidi bin Bahri, matrix number 2019 398 273. I'm from PAD 381 G3. Today I would like to discuss about the political issue in Cambodia. In political perspective, the law practiced by the government are routinely misused in Cambodia. That to be used to restrict human rights, undermine and weaken the civil society, and criminalize individuals for exercising their right to freedom of expression or speech. The authorities is the authorities continue to adopt repressive legislation with complete lack of oversight. In past year, the government has taken drastic measures to further increase online surveillance, cramp down on freedom of expression or speech online, and erode privacy rights. The pending draft law on cybercrime and the draft law on public order would provide further tools to criminalize freedom of speech or behavior in the digital print and public space. The human rights situation in Cambodia has continuously worsened since 2017, as the government controlled by court dissolved the main opposition party, the Cambodia National Rescue Party (CNRP), and barred its co-founder Sam Rainsy and Kem Sokha, and more than 100 CNRP politicians or politics, while replacing over 5 million locality elected officially with member of the ruling Cambodian People Party CPP. The situation in Cambodia has deteriorated since the last Human Rights Council resolution on Cambodia was adopted in 2019. Judicial harassment against opposition members has sharply increased, including through the conduct of massive trials against them in more recent months. Human rights defenders, activists, independent media and media workers and trade unions have continued to be relentlessly persecuted through judicial harassment and legal action. Environmental human rights defenders and youth activists had, have been targeted. Recently, six members of Mother Nature were detained under serious charges including plotting to overthrow the government and face up to 10 years in prison. A highly politicized judicial system renders the prospect of fair trial for those who deem a threat to the interests of government virtually non-existent.
The next is economy of Cambodia. The economy of Cambodia currently follows an open market system and has been rapid economic process in the last decade. Cambodia has a GDP of 24.57 billion. Rapid economy in 2018, per capita income, although rapidly increasing, is low compared with the most neighboring countries. In 1995, with a GDP of 2.92 billion, the government transformed the country's economic system from a planned economy to its present market-driven system. And the economy of Cambodia is from the agriculture. Agriculture is the traditional mainstay of the Cambodian economy. Agriculture accounted for 90% of GDP in 1985 and employed approximately 80% of the workforce. Rice is the principal commodity. The second is tourism. In 1980, Cambodia was a prominent tourist destination in the Southern Asian region. Due to the protracted period of civil war, insurgencies, and especially the genocidal regime of the Khmer Rouge, Cambodia tourism industry was reduced to being virtually non-existent since the late 1990s. And the third is the gambling industry. The Cambodian casino is based at the Vietnamese border crossing. Gambling in Cambodia is officially illegal under the 1996 law on the suppression of gambling, which outlined with a tourism form of gambling and provide for the penalty ranging from the monetary fitness to short prison sentence. Although the Cambodian government's General Department of Prison does not list gambling as one of the 20 offenses punishable by the imprisonment. And other than that, from the construction aspect is the increase the tourist arrival has led to growing demand for hotel and other form of the accommodations around the tourist hotspot. Siem Reap is a particularly has seen a contraction boom in the recent year. In addition, the resources such as oil seeps were discovered in Cambodia as early as 1950 by Russian and Chinese geologists. Development of the industry was delayed, however, by the Vietnam and Cambodian Civil War and the political uncertainty that followed. Further discovery of oil and natural gas, the disposed offshore in early 2000, led to renewed domestic and international interest in Cambodia production possibility. Moreover, is from the telecommunication is an energy, and the last is transport is and the child labor. Child labor refer to the full-time employment of children under a minimum legal age in 2003 at International Labour Organization. Survey reported that when every 10 children in the capital of the age of several was engaged in children domestic labor. Children who are too young to work in the field work as a scavenger. They spend their day remaining in them looking for items that can be sold for money.
Hello, my name is Stephanie, and I'm going to talk about the social issue in Cambodia. First, Cambodia has problems of basic social environments. The GNP level of Cambodia is very low, and it is a low-income country. A poor and needy ratio exceeds 30% of populations, and the population growth is high, so poverty doesn't decrease. Moreover, social welfare systems such as education, insurance, medical treatment, and public services are also poorly funded. Inequity in health status and access to health services has been long known in Cambodia and is associated with urban, rural, and economic divides. Cambodian children in rural areas are 3 times more likely to die than those in urban areas. This could be explained in part by economic status and mothers' education, as well as access to health services. Children in the highest economic quintile have lower mortality rate than those in the lowest quintile. Children born to a mother with no education have higher mortality rate than those born to a mother with secondary education or higher. Mothers are the major sources of care of young children, and their knowledge and practices in caring for young children are essential for good care. Problems of social and health inequity are also prevalent in urban areas. Poor urban Cambodians are disadvantaged because of their low education, lack of knowledge about health and healthcare, poor living conditions exposing them to risk and disease, and high cost of living and access to healthcare. That's all from
The
me. Thank
conclusion
you.
is since the colonial period, Cambodia has had a number of significant political change, the most recent of which occurred as a result of the conflict that occurred in the country, which left the government in an unstable state. During the war's first year, many children were left without parents, and many married women were left without husbands. More importantly, the construction of a government via the restoration of monarchical system made it the development of the country of Cambodia, and the lives of Cambodians have improved since the war ended, but not fully. And I think that's all from our group. And thank you.